Welcome, welcome, beautiful souls. Come on in the room, take a seat. Beautiful souls, it is Coach D, your guide to clarity, focus, and transformation. It is now time for Coffee with Coach D. Come on in, come on in. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, beautiful souls. And if you could allow my beautiful queens, my black queens and black kings to come down to the front. Coffee with Coach D is unscripted, intentionally. This allows me to show up as my authentic self and to share briefly with you. I can't say on a daily basis, but when I do it, let me tell y'all. Look, you see the twist today. Coach D was supposed to wash her hair over the weekend. And remember my hair? Her name is Cherie. My AI's name is Cherie. My avatar is named Cherie because my middle name is Cherise, and I love it. So in any case, Coach D was supposed to wash and style Cherie over the weekend. I'm going to tell you, the weekend came and my mind, my body, my soul, my spirit said rest. And I did just that. I enjoyed the rest, just sitting and being. So this morning, though, when I woke up bright and early, my soul, my spirit, my mind said, hey, let's wash Cherie. So I did. And I am all natural for my sisters who know what I'm talking about. And when I wash her, I detangle her and I just put her in a bunch of twists so she can dry naturally. That way I'm not using heat on her and causing damage. Cherie has been growing. So even in my natural curl, my twists here that are not straightened out, you can see she's below my shoulder. And I love it. I haven't let her grow out this length in quite a while. In fact, when I was pregnant with my daughter, who is now 33, going on 34, so that was a long time ago. When I was pregnant with her, I actually let my hair grow out because it was just easier to pull it up in a ponytail and go to work and still look cute. But you all know, anyone who's ever been pregnant, you do not feel like doing a bunch because you really don't want to do anything. So you look for the most simplest ways. And so I let my hair grow out. And it was super long and thick back then, and it was just easier to put in a ponytail. Getting back, though, to 2025, since I just took us back 30, 33, 34 years. I did Cherie, so she's drying and feels so good and so soft. I use several products. I gravitate to Carol's daughter, and I am so glad that she, purchased the business back. So I gravitate to that. I do Design Essential. I find that their products for natural hair is really great, especially if I want to do twists, that they have some wonderful gels that don't weigh your hair down, but keep the hold. So that's typically what I do. All right. So let's talk about, let me get a sip of my coffee. I've been drinking it, so I don't have a whole cup, but I'm going to sip this. Today, on this Monday, November the 10th, tomorrow is the Veterans Day. So for anyone who has a veteran in your life, in your family, your neighbor, coworker, colleague, make sure you thank them for their service. My dad was in prior Army. I have brother-in-law, cousins, others in my family who served, whether in the Army or in the Navy, or Marines, even Air Force. So make sure you thank them for their service, because that is a huge, huge undertaking and weight for those who join the military. Hi, my sis Yolanda. I see you. Come on in as Coach D is getting started here. So today being Monday, outside of washing my hair and actually saying, oh, I'll put a little light makeup on, because, I don't even do that these days unless I have to go out. But I felt like it this morning, so I went with it. What I want to talk about this morning and get you to think about, being that we are almost to the end of the year for 2025. So here we are, a month away from my favorite holiday, my birthday in December. I'm a December Sag. And then you probably can tell that, because I will drive us like this and we'll be going one direction and I turn quickly to the right or to the left. Just flow with me, okay? Just flow with me. What I wanted to bring light to today is talking about stress. Now, when I say stress, I'm not talking about acute stress where you just have a moment, fight or flight, something's going on. I'm talking about chronic stress and the adverse effects of chronic stress. Chronic stress is when your body remains at a heightened state of alert for an extended period of time. So I need you, as you're hearing me talk, I want you to think about yourself or maybe a dear loved one that's close to you. Think about, are you in that chronic stress phase? Heightened, constantly on high for an extended period of time. I can relate to this, and hence is why I'm also bringing it to light. I've been where it was that chronic stress where every way you turn, work, family, personal life, finances, health, it was just like everything felt like it was just all going not the way I wanted it to. And it wasn't for a short period of time, but days became months and months became years of living that way. And I know the effects of it. So let me ask you, are you under chronic stress? I will tell you, for most Black women and Black men, living, abiding citizens of the United States, you probably could check yes for this. It's the state of our country and how our country perceives us, how our country speaks of us, and that causes stress. So let me get into it a little bit deeper. Look at this. And I've got some notes. So if you see me looking away, I'm looking at my notes on the computer here. Chronic stress. Let me tell you some of the consequences, the results of chronic stress. Physical effects. And check, every time you hear me say something that you're like, oh, that's me, do a check mark. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Here's some physical effects. Cardiovascular issues, high blood pressure, heart disease, increased risk of stroke or had a stroke. If that's you, check. Weakened immune system. So being more susceptible to infections and slower healing, because our bodies were designed to fight off infection and to heal, but under chronic stress, your immune system is weakened. Gastrointestinal problems like ulcers, irritable bowel syndrome. See so many commercials for that. Indigestion, no matter what you're eating. Indigestion, heartburn. Musculoskeletal pain, okay? Tension headaches. How many people? That was me, headaches, daily headaches. Migraines. That was me as well. Neck and back pain. See, we don't usually associate this stuff with stress, but let me go a little further. How about weight gain or weight loss? Because the cortisol imbalance can drive overeating or appetite suppression for some. So think about that. Here's another one. Sleep disturbances. How many of you can relate to insomnia or fatigue? You just feel tired, even though you slept. You might even have slept 8 hours, but you still are tired because of that non-restorative sleep. Just because you're asleep doesn't mean that you're sleeping well. And your sleep, which is supposed to restore your body, it's not any longer. How about cognitive effects? Let's talk about that. Brain fog. Who out there has brain fog? And that's that difficulty concentrating, your poor memory retention, or slower processing. How about decision fatigue? Have you suffered from that or know someone? That impaired judgment, impulsive choices, or paralysis by analysis? Decision fatigue. Burnout. Hello? Coach D. Burnout. That emotional exhaustion, reduced performance, and loss of motivation. That is what got Coach D to say bye-bye to what I had been doing in corporate America and taking a sabbatical and changing and shifting my life and life happening, right? So think about that. Is that you? Here's some emotional and behavioral effects. Anxiety and depression. Come on, come on. Come on, sis. Come on, bruh. Anxiety and depression, that persistent worrying, that sadness or that hopelessness. That's not how we're supposed to be feeling. Here's another one, irritability and mood swings. You go from one extreme to the other. And people don't know what they're going to encounter because you're just swinging. Your mood swings, frustration, impatience, and outbursts. Do we see that in our country? Look at the news. Listen to the stories. Someone going in somewhere and firing a weapon, firing an automatic rifle. And it's like, huh? Why? Or someone who has chosen to say, you know what? I'm just going to commit suicide. We see this on a regular. We hear this. You can't even listen to the news without hearing a story. Now, there's more to the story, but I want you just to think, how much stress was that individual under? That it impacted their mental health, their choices, their ability to actually make sound judgment. Another emotional and behavioral effect, social withdrawal. When people become isolated, that lack of interest in relationships. Now, I'm not talking about when you steal away, because you do. We need time alone. We need time to regroup. We need time with ourselves and in our thoughts to be able to be and to sit in it. Not talking about that, but talking about folks who all of a sudden, you hadn't heard from in weeks. They're not responding to your text messages or phone calls. They're not at least saying, hey, just taking some time to myself. I'm good. You're not hearing from them. You're not seeing them. They were at church every Sunday and all of a sudden you're not seeing them there on Sundays, or they were coming to work and all of a sudden this person seems to be taking a lot of time away from work. What could be going on? Here's another one, unhealthy coping mechanisms, substance abuse, compulsive eating, overspending. That's substance abuse, especially with women. It's so easy to go pick up that bottle of wine because you're in the grocery store anyhow and you're shopping. So you go and say, let me go ahead and get a bottle or 2 or 3 of my favorite wine and take it home. And drinking alcohol in and of itself, nothing wrong with that. In moderation, everything in moderation. And I'm also making that a general statement because for some, it may be a problem and you don't need to do it. Yet, if you are someone who can partake occasionally, has it increased? Have you found yourself like, oh, I finished off a bottle of red wine in one evening or one day? Think about that. The fact that the chronic stress is how so many of us live or have lived. In my case, I had to stop because my health was absolutely in that place of, I don't want to say critical, yet it was definitely high concern about what was going on with me. Oh, here, let me back up. Remember in one of my one of the lives I did, and I think I did a blog on it as well recently, talking about stress and that connection to the displacement of Black women and men in the workplace this year. You all heard me, and I know you've heard on social media from many others about over 300,000. So now I'm pretty sure we're probably over that 400,000 Black women displaced from the workforce in the United States this year alone. Think about what that brought on. Think about the stress that brought on. Now, all of a sudden, you're unemployed. How about the fact that your health insurance was tied to that particular employment? And now you don't have health insurance. So now you're not able to go and get the care that you're needing. How about the fact that you went from a dual income household family to now maybe a single income? How that impacts financially and the stress that comes from that. Beautiful souls, this is not how we were meant to live. This is not how we were meant to show up in life. Our Creator, God, our Father, designed us to be well, to be healthy, for our body to rejuvenate and to be self-healing. Yet we have brought on so much more in our lives that our body can't even do that. When you think about the stresses you're going through, and I didn't even get through my whole list. I'm going to put this in a blog. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to put that out. So that's going to be my blog this week, because this is urgent enough to talk about. And for you, those who are watching me, those who will see this video at another time, to ask yourself this question: is this you? Is this you under chronic stress? And most of the time you go to your doctor, you go to your primary care, you get your yearly physical. They don't talk about this. And unless you bring it up as a patient that, hey, I'm feeling this stress and I'm under this stress, it's not talked about. And even when you bring it up, you have to advocate for yourself as a patient, because usually what happens with your medical doctors is, oh, okay, well, let me write you a prescription for an antidepressant. Okay, that's fine to help chemically. Yet, what about me talking to someone? Because guess what? Just taking a pill isn't going to make it go away. You need to talk to someone. That means therapy. That means a coach. It means engaging with medical health resources that can help you get back into right alignment and not live under the chronic stress. The things that may be causing the stress, they may not go away. Some things we can't make go away. Racism in the United States, come on. My lifetime, probably your lifetime, we're not going to see that's going to go away. Yet, as Black people, we need to understand that's not our problem to solve. That is on the allies of white Americans. Come on. Those of you who say you're allies, those of you who say, hey, I support the Black community, I stand with, and you are a white man or white woman, that racist problem is on your plate to solve. It is on your plate to deal with historically what your ancestors handed down generation after generation. Let me get off that because Coach D could get on that soapbox and really talk about that. So for my Black sisters and brothers, though, no, that is not your problem to resolve. And yes, we have to live in it. Yes, we have to do code switching. Yes, we end up going to work and having to smile through some things that we shouldn't have to smile through, or let go of some things, just to be able to continue to get a paycheck. Now that, my sister, my brother, that you do control. That you can say, I got to make a change. And those of you who are listening may be like, Coach D, it's not just that easy. It's not that simple. Let me say this. I get it. I get when you're used to an income. Hello. Remember, I left a 6-figure income without having an established profitable business or another 6-figure income role. I left it. I left it though for me, for my health, for my life, because who would I be serving if I had kept staying, or if I continued in that same vein and end up having a stroke or a heart attack, or end up hospitalized or disabled for some reason, or guess what, dead? How does that serve me and those who love me and who I love? It doesn't. So I want to encourage you, my sister and my brother, don't think that you have to just continue to go to work for someone else when it's causing those stresses. What you need to do while you are still getting a paycheck is to look at other streams of income. I am a big advocate for small businesses, for at-home businesses, for entrepreneurship, because that is a great way to utilize your abilities, your skills, your talents that the Creator gave you. That's a wonderful way. You could just monetize what you're already doing. That's what I did. After 30 plus years in corporate America and doing and having the opportunity to do some amazing things, from traveling all over the United States for 12 to 15 years, traveling as a consultant, being able to show up and give my expertise and lend it. And the knowledge I gained from that time, I'm now using for myself as an entrepreneur. This is not even my favorite subject to talk about. I have to share that in another, because that'll take me off on a whole nother tangent. Anyhow, but because I know this, and because I have a heart for my people, for my sisters, I wanted to show up and say, guess what? You can do this. Whether it's, again, starting and becoming an entrepreneur, or for those who say, hey, Coach D, not ready for that step, but I want to level up in my career. Me and my team and I help with that. Help with how you can level up, how you can go to that next level in your career. So with all this being said, there was something though I did want to share, and I may just be reading this directly. No, I'm not going to read that. There was one other piece that I wanted you to hear. Oh, I wanted to bring out those of you who are caregivers. And I'm mentioning this because I was talking to one of my best sister friends. We've been friends since we were 4 years old. So, a long time. Coach D will be 57 next month. And she was sharing a story of a friend who, the friend and spouse of the friend were taking care of a family member, and the family member recently passed away, yet they were doing so much and carrying the weight of caring for someone else. And that, for caregivers, that brings on additional stress. I have a dear, dear friend, and you all have heard me talk about her. I love her. She's like a second mom to me, or another mom, a mom of love. Let me put it that way, a mom of love. And the same thing, she's a caregiver for her beloved spouse. And I watch what she goes through just on a day-to-day basis, just to make sure her spouse is taken care of, that she gets things, all the responsibilities of a household falls on her shoulder, the decision making. And that brings on stress. And I've watched her over the past few years, recent years, how it's impacted her. So let me just say, stress is real. Whether your primary care, your provider acknowledges it or not, it is real. And it is up to you to be your advocate. It is up to you to seek out the resources that are available to you. If you are still working for someone, you probably have health insurance, so you can make an appointment with a therapist. You can make an appointment with a nutritionist. You can actually talk with a mental health provider. You can also take and look at your benefits. Does your company offer EAP, Employee Assistance Program, EAP? Is that a benefit? If it does, utilize it. They do not tell your employer what you sought them for. They do not. They are third party of healthcare professional or mental health professionals that you can actually utilize before you have to use your insurance. So think about that. Think about support groups in your area. You don't have to go through it alone. And the fact that we are going into the holiday season, and I know this tends to be a time that people buy, shop, Black Friday. And thank you, for the challenge that's out there for Black people to, totally let Black Friday happen and we not spend a dime. Don't fall into that same loop that happens every year and buying all these things at Christmas time. Baby, put that money to something else where it is generating you income versus you spending it. Okay? And if you have to buy, if you have to shop, please look for a Black-owned business. Look to buy from a Black-owned business, whether online or whether in person within your community. Let's support our community. Now, since I'm going to wrap this up, this is why it matters to talk about chronic stress. Chronic stress is not just a personal issue. It is a public health and socioeconomic crisis when it affects entire communities disproportionately, like it is in the Black community. The recent displacement, again, of over 300,000 Black women and the growing number of Black men from corporate America and healthcare isn't just about jobs lost. It's about the silent toll on minds, bodies, and futures. This is impacting us as an overall race. So we have to do what we can do, what we can control, what we can impact. We have to do. And those who are allies, I call upon you to be more than an ally. It's time for you to sponsor. Sponsorship. It's time for you to show up and open doors that have been closed. It's time for you to be the example. You have a leadership role in your company. You may sit on boards of various companies. It is time for you to call out the problem, call it what it is, name it, say it, and then call for other allies who look like you to show up and do the same. So today, on this Monday, November 10th, I want to say thank you to those of you who follow me. And if you don't, follow, comment, share, subscribe. I'm on social media. You just have to look it up, check it out. My Facebook bio, you can tag, get in there, go to my other social media, but help spread this word. I do. When I see another Black female who is out there and she's doing it on social media, I comment often, I share, because that's how we help one another. That's how we spread the word. So I ask you to do that. I ask you to do that right now, if you have not yet. Well, it's lunchtime now, and Coach D is going to finish her coffee. Queen of everything. Okay, queen of everything in my universe. Let me put it that way. I'm going to finish this coffee and take a moment. I thank you. I thank you for joining me. I thank you for showing up. I thank you for not giving up. Don't you dare. And anyone who needs help or needs guidance, direction, just needs some clarity, book a call with me. You can DM me, go to my website, and you can book directly from my website a clarity discovery call. And that is complimentary. Hey, 30 minutes of time with Coach D that you will get a lot more than you bargained for. So thank you. I appreciate you. And let me give my virtual hugs. I give good hugs. And love to all of you, beautiful souls. Continue, and don't you dare give up. And remember, you have the power to make it a great day. So go out there and do it. Until next time, sending love.